looking at the clouds. Nope, not that one. Not that one either. Nope, definitely not that one. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, my mom and I were at the community garden yesterday. It was so cool. Everyone in our neighborhood came and planted something. My mom and I planted tomatoes. I heard my mom saying that the next thing we need is for it to rain so that the plants we all planted can grow. So, I'm looking up at the clouds and trying to guess which one will bring the rain we need. Not that one. Nope, not that one. Hey, what does that cloud look like? Yeah, a rhinoceros. What does that cloud look like? Yeah, that looks like a pig with a monkey riding on its back. But none of these clouds look like rain clouds, and we really need rain so our tomatoes can grow. I know what to do. God, can you make it rain so that our community garden can grow? That would be awesome! Oh, and you're awesome, God! Thanks! Amen! I'm gonna keep looking for rain clouds while we check out our Bible story for today.
It's time for today's Bible story. It comes from the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4. One day, Elisha and the people traveling with him were visiting a place that was in the midst of a famine. A famine is when the land is dry and there is no food. They didn't know what to do, but Elisha told them to cook a large pot of stew. They didn't have anything to put in it, so one of the men with Elisha went out and picked a bunch of gourds, which are kind of like pumpkins but skinnier. He sliced them up and threw them in the stew, even though he didn't know what they were. The stew was terrible, and no one could eat it. But Elisha listened to God closely and did what God said. He knew what the stew needed. He got flour and sprinkled a little bit in. After that, the stew was good for them to eat. Another time, a man brought Elisha 20 loaves of bread. It wasn't enough to feed everyone, but Elisha told him to pass it around anyway, because God told him there would be plenty for them to eat. In fact, there would be leftovers. The people who were with Elisha weren't sure about this, but they did what he said, and sure enough, they all ate until their bellies were full, and there was more for later. Even in the midst of a great famine, when Elisha and the people traveling with him needed food, Elisha never worried, because he knew, I can ask God for what I need.
Well, friends, God did bring the rain that we needed for the garden. In fact, I found out that gardener Mary over there, she's the one that runs the community garden, comes and waters the garden herself whenever it needs it. So God not only brought rain, but God also gave us gardener Mary. God really knows what we need. My mom and I picked so many tomatoes. We picked big, fat tomatoes like this one, and little round tomatoes like this one. We're going to make them into a food pantry. That's a place where people go to get food when they're in need. Whoa, that reminds me of today's Bible story. I guess God is still giving people food when they need it. Oh, and the coolest thing is that God is using us to be the ones who get to give them the food they need. We'd better hurry. I've become kind of a cloud expert, and that cloud right there, that looks like a turtle blowing bubble, usually comes with... Yep, thunder. Here comes the rain. I guess God is still answering my prayer. Remember, friends, I can ask God for what I need. See you next time. Thanks for learning and growing with me. Bye!
Hey there, you little floating chicken nuggets. Me, Carl. Welcome to Grow TV.
Welcome to Grow TV. Hosted by Carl. Where we have fun with our friends, talk about Jesus, Jesus and go over everything the Bible has to offer. Now once again, welcome to Grow TV!
Well, hey there, how y'all doing? Me? I'm just up here in a hot air balloon still. Just floating around, not doing a whole lot. Been almost a week and this balloon still has not come down. And believe me, I've tried everything. I've tried asking, please, Mr. Hot Air Balloon, please bring me back down to Earth. I'm so hungry and I'm so sorry I popped so many of your family members as a kid. It's just that balloons are so fun to pop because they make that little fun popping noise. But I promise I'll never do it again if you just bring me down to the ground, please. I've tried calling the police. Hi, yes, officer. I need help. My address? Up the sky. Up in the air? Oh, street? Cloud Street? Hello? Officer? I've tried it all. I'm getting so hungry I can barely take it any longer. I guess the only way to go down is to pop the balloon. Here goes nothing.
Carl, don't do that.
Ah, Katie! What did you do that for?
I'm sorry. I just didn't want you to hurt yourself.
Oh, good. I'm glad that didn't happen.
I said I'm sorry. Plus, popping that hot air balloon could have been really bad. You could have been in a terrible situation.
Well, newsflash, Katie, I'm already in a terrible situation. I'm not only stuck on this floating death trap, I'm so hungry. Sorry. So hungry I could eat the sandwich I left behind my bed when I was in kindergarten.
Oh, wow. You're not kidding.
I'm not. I haven't eaten in like 15 minutes. I just finished my last bag of Cheetos and I got nothing left. What am I gonna do?
Well, let me ask you this. Have you asked?
Oh, I already tried talking to the balloon, but it never responds. But I have never asked about food. Great idea, Katie. Excuse me, Mr. Hot Air Balloon? You don't by a chance have any, like, snacks or, like, I don't know, something to munch on?
Not the balloon, Carl. I meant, have you asked God for what you need?
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But seriously, this week, after reading our Bible story, I've been really trying to focus on asking God for what I need. You should too.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You weren't talking about the story where Elisha had to deal with a famine, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, cool, because I had read that and I was wondering, what is famine?
Oh, well, that's easy. A famine is when food is hard to find. It usually happens when it doesn't rain for a long time, so the crops can't grow, therefore making it harder and harder to make food.
Oh, that makes sense. Because the story started off with Elisha and a bunch of other prophets that sat down to eat a meal, right?
Exactly. One of the men had gone out to find some food, and when he came back and made a stew with it, things kind of went a little south.
The stew was bad, right?
Yep. For some reason, the stew was inedible. It was gonna make everyone sick, but Elisha knew exactly what to do. He grabbed some flour.
Yep, I remember. Grabbed a bunch of flowers and put it in there. What kind do you think? Maybe roses, lilies, daffodils?
Neither. It was flour, like cooking flour?
Wait, how'd that fix it?
Usually it wouldn't, but Elisha trusted God would use that flour to fix the stew so that the men could eat and survive during this hard time.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Sure does. And something similar happened later on in the story as well.
Yeah, I love this part. So kids, there's about 100 men with Elijah and they're all super hungry. And the famine sounds really awful. I don't think I'm famished. I don't want anybody else to be famished. So what happened next?
A man from another city showed up and brought Elisha loaves of bread for them to eat.
The only thing is, he brought only 20 loaves of bread for 100 men. Now, I don't know about you, but in my house, we'd be throwing elbows and fighting over that food.
I can imagine. And the people were worried because obviously that wasn't the amount they expected. But Elisha told them that the Lord said this: they will eat and have some left over.
Now, I'm sure some of them doubted it because how does 20 loaves feed 100 men? But guess what? It did.
Yup. The men ate until they were full, and there was still some left over. It was truly a miracle.
How incredible is that? Imagine if things like that happened today.
Carl, they do.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the countless things that happen every day that prove to us just how God is taking care of us.
Really?
Really, I mean, look around. God gives us sunlight to keep us warm, gives us air to breathe and lungs to take in that air. God even gives us loving people to guide us and help us through tough times. God is always giving us what we need, and even the things we want. But sometimes we just need to ask.
You think God listens to us when we ask?
Of course. And I truly believe there are some things in this world that would not happen if we didn't ask God for it.
So you're telling me if I asked for something right now, God would give it to me?
Well, that's not exactly how it works. God isn't like a genie where whatever we want we get. God created us and cares about us so much. God will always help us when we need help.
I think I understand now. Just like a parent takes care of their kids' needs, so will God take care of our needs.
You got it. But even more so, God has a plan for us. So when we are faced with trouble or struggles, we shouldn't hesitate to ask God for help.
Hi kids, it's your good friend Sam. And man, do we have a great big idea for you today. And it's this: I can ask God for what I need. Are you ready to say it with me? This time, we're gonna shout it out to the clouds, okay? 1, 2, 3. I can ask God for what I need. Wow, great job. Don't forget that. No matter what it is, we can ask God for what we need. Now, in the next episode of Grow TV, we're going to finally see if Carl could get out of that hot air balloon. All right? Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for a new episode of Grow TV.
Colossians 3 verse 2. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things.